So effective today, y'all, I am completely single, like single as fuck, like single, like call me type single, like give me a motherfucking call.
Thanks. I'm single too.
What you say?
I'm single too.
What you say?
You see? Come on, show them how I look. Show them how I
No,
look
no,
too.
we don't want to see how you look.
I'm single too.
I don't know how to keep my hands to myself.
Yeah. We need to figure it out. Figure out how to do it. But you can't touch me no more.
I'm not playing.
Don't touch me.
It was supposed to be a night of celebration. The sky lit up in bursts of red, white, and blue as families gathered to watch the 4th of July fireworks in Flower Mound, Texas. Among the crowd stood a couple TikTok knew well, Zahra Hashemi and her boyfriend, Ladarius Brownlee, known to their 150,000 fans as at Deno and Zahra. To the outside world, they were relationship goals. A beautiful Iranian-American woman with a magnetic personality, and a confident Southern boyfriend who adored her. They made people laugh, feel seen, believe in love again. But just hours after those fireworks faded from the sky, something else exploded, only this time, it wasn't beautiful. It was terrifying. One gunshot. Point blank. Straight to the head. Zahra, only 28, was found bleeding on the side of the road. Her blood staining the asphalt, her life hanging by a thread. The internet was in disbelief. The man she loved, the man she trusted, had just pulled the trigger. But this isn't just a story about a man who shot his girlfriend. It's about what happened after. Because what shocked the world even more, is that she lived. And weeks later, she forgave him. And not just forgave. She stayed. He shot her in the head, and she still said, "I love you." Why? How? What really happened that night? And what makes someone stay, after the unthinkable? This is the story of Ladarius, Deno, Brownlee and Seyedeh, Zahra Hashemi. A TikTok love story turned nightmare. A case that stunned even the police. And a decision that left the world asking, was it trauma, or was it love? She was born Seyedeh Zahra Hashemi. But to the world online, she was just Zahra, funny, fearless, and absolutely unforgettable. She wasn't the kind of influencer who felt manufactured. She was real. Raw. Her smile. Infectious. Her energy. Magnetic. In every clip, whether she was dancing awkwardly in a grocery store aisle or laughing uncontrollably at one of Deno's dumb jokes, you could feel the joy radiating through your screen. Zahra had that rare ability to make you feel like you knew her. Like she was your friend. Your sister. The girl you rooted for, Ladarius Brownlee, known as Deno, was the other half of that equation. Tall, charismatic, with a deep southern drawl and a confidence that made him feel instantly familiar. Together, they were a content powerhouse. From skits about relationships to slice-of-life banter, they made the algorithm work for them. Their joint account, at Deno and Zahra, climbed steadily, racking up views in the millions. They weren't just internet famous, they were internet loved, but like so many social media couples before them, the story behind the ring lights and hashtags was much darker. Deno and Zahra lived in Northlake, a quiet town in Texas, about 40 minutes outside of Dallas. On screen, they were playful. But behind closed doors, friends had started to notice the tension. The passive-aggressive digs. The subtle digs hidden as jokes. The way Deno would interrupt her mid-sentence. Correct her. Belittle her. Play it off like a bit, but Zahra's eyes would shift, just for a moment, and Zahra. She began posting less. Her captions became cryptic. Her laugh didn't come as easily. Still, when July 4th rolled around, the couple did what they always did, they made content. Smiling at the fireworks, dancing to the beat of celebration, kissing in the glow of America's independence. It was just another day in their public fairy tale, but hours later, that illusion shattered. That it happened just after 10 p.m. as they were walking back to their SUV in the crowded parking lot of the Independence Fest in Flower Mound, Texas. Witnesses say an argument broke out. Heated. Fast. Zahra was heard yelling. Deno, visibly agitated, was seen shoving her. Multiple people say he forced her into the back seat of his 2024 Chevrolet Blazer. She resisted. He insisted. What exactly happened inside that vehicle in the next few minutes remains partially a mystery. But we do know this: the argument didn't stop once the doors were closed. It escalated. According to the police affidavit, Deno reached into the driver's side door pocket and pulled out a gun. One shot. One bullet. Straight into Zahra's head. The SUV stopped. Deno stepped out. Zahra lay unconscious in the road, blood pooling beneath her. A witness ran to call 911. Another began screaming. Someone recorded the aftermath on a shaky cell phone. Sirens wailed in the distance. The lights of the festival still flickered in the background. But the celebration had ended. When police arrived, they found Zahra still breathing, but barely. She was rushed to Baylor Scott and White Medical Center in Grapevine, suffering a gunshot wound just above her right eye. She shouldn't have survived. By every account, she wasn't supposed to, and yet, somehow, she did. Deno, meanwhile, never ran. He stayed at the scene. Calm. He cooperated with law enforcement. He didn't fight his arrest. In fact, he barely spoke. No tears. No resistance. That he was charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, and deadly conduct for discharging a firearm. Mugshots hit the internet. His face, once known for pranks and dances, now frozen in a blank stare, stared back from every headline. As news of the shooting spread, fans were horrified. Shocked. Confused. This wasn't just another toxic breakup. This was attempted murder. And it had played out just hours after they'd posted videos pretending to be in love. What no one expected, what no one could expect, is what Zahra would say next, not in court. Not to the press. But in private, she didn't leave him, she forgave him, and then, months later, she was seen, back with him, back with him. The woman who had been shot in the head, was now standing next to the man who pulled the trigger. What kind of trauma leads to that kind of forgiveness? What kind of love survives a bullet? And is this a story of redemption, or a warning? Because this isn't just the story of what happened on July 5th. It's the story of everything that came after, and the question that still haunts everyone watching from the outside: was it love, or was it something far more dangerous? The truth is, it didn't start with a gunshot. It started with silence. With side eyes. With TikToks that felt off. Long before Zahra bled on the pavement, there were whispers. Posts that felt less playful and more like coded messages. Behind every relationship challenge or couple prank, there were cracks. Tiny fractures in the digital glass that people didn't want to see. Or didn't think were real, but the signs were there. One video showed Deno snatching Zahra's phone mid-live stream. She laughed nervously, brushing it off. Another showed her face turning cold when he joked about her not having friends. "You're lucky I deal with you," he'd say. The comments flooded in, some laughing, others concerned. But the algorithm doesn't favor empathy. It favors drama. Privately, Zahra was pulling away from family. Friends who reached out said their messages went unread. Those who saw her in person said her once vibrant presence had dimmed. She wasn't wearing makeup anymore. She barely smiled. Her weight fluctuated. She started talking less, and deferring more. Classic signs, advocates would later say. The textbook progression of emotional abuse, but online. It was still curated perfection. 1 week before the shooting, Zahra posted a now haunting video. She was lip-syncing to an audio that said, "Sometimes the person you take a bullet for, ends up being the one holding the gun." She laughed at the end. Played it off like a joke, but was it? The day before Independence Day, they were seen arguing outside a gas station in Northlake. A witness, who later spoke anonymously, said Zahra looked scared. Her voice was trembling. Deno got out of the car and slammed the door so hard it shook the frame. But again, no police were called. No reports were filed, and then came July 4. To the outside world, it looked like a reset. The couple showed up at the Flower Mound Independence Fest hand in hand. They filmed themselves laughing in front of food trucks, singing along to fireworks, surrounded by hundreds of people. A perfect American summer night, but the mask was slipping. Multiple people who saw them that evening described an undercurrent of tension. Deno wasn't smiling much. Zahra kept checking her phone. At one point, they were overheard arguing near the porta potties. Something about a message. A name. A man she used to talk to. Was it jealousy? Was it control? We may never know the exact words. But we know where it led. After the fireworks ended, they walked to their SUV. That walk, less than 4 minutes, was the last time Zahra would ever appear in public without a scar across her face. Stood in the parking lot, surrounded by hundreds of cars and laughing families. Something finally snapped. That it wasn't a random outburst. It was a slow build, months in the making. 1,000 red flags finally crashing down in one violent instant. The argument escalated in the vehicle. Deno was yelling. Zahra, according to statements, was crying. She tried to get out. He reached across. Locked the doors, then, without warning, he opened the driver's side compartment, pulled out his gun, turned toward her, and fired. 1 shot. That's all it took, but she didn't die, not immediately. Not ever. When officers arrived, they expected to find a body. Instead, they found a miracle. She was still breathing. Still alive. Zahra was airlifted. Her brain was swelling. Her skull fractured. Her eye, damaged, maybe permanently. But her heart, still beating, and that heartbeat would become the center of the most shocking twist yet, because just weeks later, that same woman, her head still bandaged, her body still healing, posted again. No makeup. No filters. No music, just her voice. She said, "God gave me another chance. And I know y'all don't understand. But love doesn't die with a bullet. Not always." And then, she smiled, the same smile she wore in all those TikToks.
'Cause it hurts. And people are like, "Does it hurt?" Yes. Yes. Everything hurts. And they told me I can't sleep on this side, but this side hurt more than this side. So I was sleeping on this side. Okay, I know my hair is, I know I need to put my hair up, but I don't care. I'm going to get surgery tomorrow. Who cares what people think? Literally. I think I'm so emotional because I have God, but like things still hurt me. Like I don't want people to like, oh, like she's so strong, she can handle whatever. No, I'm human too. Like I can't handle whatever. I am not okay. But it's okay because I have God and I have people that support me. So yeah, it's gonna be okay. And then the most importantly, I have you guys that literally support me, and you guys don't care. Like, you know that it's my life. I can live it however I want. And the decisions that I'm making in my life has nothing to do with you guys.
I'm just here to address the fact that, no, I did not do anything on purpose. Cause had this situation been something that was intentional, I wouldn't be right here talking to y'all right now. You feel me? and people know that. But first offer I took, yes, I went with it. You know what I'm saying? First offer I took it. It's a process. You want me to sit in? I'm not finna sit in jail because that shit lame in here. That shit garbage in here. I'm not sitting in there waiting to go to trial and do all that shit. Like, I'm still black because it's more to this shit than what y'all know. You know what I'm saying? And it really ain't y'all motherfucking business. But on the other end, I don't feel like I owe y'all no explanation. Y'all ain't doing nothing, bro. Y'all ain't stopping me from shit. Y'all ain't stopping Zahra from shit. Y'all ain't stopping our family, our friends. Y'all ain't stopping nobody from shit, cuz. You know what I'm saying? Just real shit. Y'all don't know a damn thing. Y'all just hearing from this person, that person, what they saying, what they talking about, how they feel about it. All this shit is opinions. Nobody is speaking facts. You feel me? Nobody has once came out and said anything factual about the situation. The media sit there and try to turn me into this monster. Y'all, like I said, y'all going through videos, trying to pick and pull and say this, that, and the shit. You know what I'm saying? The videos we making because it was all fun and jokes. It's a skit.
Only this time, it felt different, colder, more uncertain, maybe even afraid. She didn't press charges. She didn't testify. She didn't run, she stayed, and now, the world had to ask, was this forgiveness, or was it something else? Was she still in love, or was she trapped in a cycle she couldn't escape, because the gunshot may have marked the climax, but the real tragedy was still unfolding. She woke up hours after being shot in the head, after surgeons told the family to prepare for the worst. Zahra opened her eyes that it wasn't supposed to happen. The bullet had entered just above her right eye, fractured her skull, caused internal bleeding, and yet, somehow, it missed her brainstem. Missed every major artery. As if by some cosmic accident or divine intervention, Zahra Hashemi survived what should have been a fatal shot, but what she did next was even more unthinkable. She didn't tell police she was afraid, she didn't say she wanted him locked away, she didn't say a word against Deno. Instead, when asked who shot her, she said she didn't remember. Memory loss. Trauma. Confusion. It was all consistent with her condition, the doctors said. But even so, police and prosecutors were stunned. Because that memory gap. That silence. That meant one thing in legal terms: no cooperating victim, which meant no slam dunk case. Ladarius, Deno, Brownlee was initially held in Denton County Jail on a $506,000 bond. A serious charge. Aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. But with no eyewitness testimony from Zahra, no confession from Deno, and the murky legality around intent, what prosecutors had was a mess that he didn't deny firing the gun. But he claimed it was accidental. A moment of rage, yes, but not a calculated act of attempted murder. And Zahra? She backed that version. She refused to testify. Her friends begged her. Advocates tried to intervene. One anonymous source close to Zahra said she told them, he didn't mean to. He just snapped. He didn't know what he was doing. When asked if she feared for her life, she reportedly replied, no. I fear losing him more. And then, only a few weeks later, Zahra appeared on social media again. No hospital gown. No medical bed. This time, she was at home. In the background. A familiar voice. His voice, Deno, the same man who shot her. He wasn't behind bars anymore. His bond had been reduced. Terms were loosened. And now, thanks to a series of legal maneuvers and the lack of a cooperating witness, he was home. Out. With her, they weren't just back together, they were posting again, and in one TikTok, Zahra sat on his lap. A gentle kiss on his cheek. A caption that read, "Forgiveness is stronger than fear." The internet exploded. Outrage. Confusion. Disbelief. People asked, is this Stockholm Syndrome? Is this brain damage from the injury? Is this manipulation? Abuse? Trauma bonding. How does a woman survive a gunshot wound to the head, and then return to the man who nearly killed her? Psychologists weighed in. Domestic violence experts called it one of the most extreme cases of trauma bonding ever witnessed in real time, because trauma bonding isn't always visible. It doesn't come with bruises you can see or threats you can hear. Sometimes, it looks like love. Sometimes, it feels like love. It's not weakness, it's rewired survival. Deno, meanwhile, never apologized publicly that he never addressed the shooting in a statement, but he didn't have to, because the message was loud and clear that he won, that he got her back, and the justice system, it looked the other way, because without Zahra, there was no case. No trial. No conviction. What started as a violent, public act ended in quiet reabsorption. The kind that leaves survivors stuck in the same cycle that almost killed them. This was the moment the world stopped asking if he would pay for what he did, and started asking something much darker. Was this woman going to survive him, twice, because the bullet may have missed her brain, but what it didn't miss, was her will, and now, the entire country watched, waiting, not for a verdict, but for the next tragedy. The world eventually turned its head, other crimes took the spotlight. Other headlines screamed louder. But for those who followed the story of Zahra, Hashemi and Ladarius, Deno, Brownlee, silence didn't mean closure. It meant fear of what was still happening behind closed doors. Fear of what wasn't being posted. Because when the TikTok stopped coming, people assumed the story was over. But for those in Zahra's inner circle, the real nightmare had just begun. In private, she pulled back. Her posts vanished. No more vlogs. No makeup tutorials. No dancing. Her online presence, once loud and luminous, flickered like a dying bulb. Gone were the love songs, the couples challenges, the pink filters. What remained were whispers, reports that she was seen limping in a Walgreens parking lot. That a neighbor heard shouting at 3 a.m. That a woman matching Zahra's description showed up at an urgent care with bruises and left before being seen. None of it could be confirmed, none of it could be proved, because Zahra wouldn't speak. Even when a Denton County advocate tried to contact her directly, there was no response. A survivor hotline confirmed she had once called, but hung up after 30 seconds. No words. Just breathing. Then, another twist. 6 months after the shooting, Deno was arrested again, not for violence. Not for possession, for fraud. That he had allegedly used Zahra's name and personal details to open a series of credit lines, some in excess of $15,000. He forged signatures. Bought electronics. Rented vehicles. And again. Zahra said nothing, but this time, law enforcement didn't need her cooperation. The paper trail was airtight that he was charged with identity theft, financial fraud, and parole violation. When officers showed up at their shared apartment to arrest him, they found Zahra sitting on the floor. Pale. Silent. Holding a Polaroid photo of the two of them from before the shooting. When asked if she wanted to press any charges, she said only one word, no, but that wasn't the end, because this time, she didn't visit him in jail, she didn't post bail, she didn't reply to his letters. Zahra vanished, her phone disconnected. Her social media scrubbed. Even her family, estranged for over a year, couldn't afford to relocate her, give her housing, counseling, and a new identity. Whether she took it, we still don't know. Deno remains incarcerated. Not for the shooting. Not for abuse, but for credit card fraud. His sentence. For years. Not enough, some say, too much, others claim, because to the law, a bullet that doesn't kill, doesn't always count. And Zahra? She's become something of a myth. A cautionary tale. A symbol of the cycle too many victims never escape. A woman who once smiled into a ring light with lip gloss and confidence, now spoken of in past tense. But she is not gone, she is not dead, she is rebuilding, maybe somewhere new, maybe with scars that no one sees, but maybe, finally, with peace, because the real ending of this story isn't found in the courtroom. Or in a jail cell. Or on TikTok. That it's found in the silence that followed. A silence not of fear, but of survival. So, what do you think? Was Zahra a victim of love, or of control? Did the system fail her? Or did she choose her own path, even if it broke our hearts to watch? And Deno, was he a broken man acting out of pain, or a predator hiding behind charisma? Let us know in the comments. We want to hear your theories. Do you think justice was served? Or do you think there's more to this story we haven't seen? If this case shook you, if it made you feel something, anything, don't forget to hit that like button. It tells us to keep going, to keep digging, and to keep telling the stories that others are too afraid to say out loud. Subscribe for more deep dives into true stories that are messy, heartbreaking, and horrifyingly real. And most importantly, if you or someone you know is in an abusive relationship, don't wait. Help is out there. We've dropped resources and hotlines in the description below, because sometimes, surviving is the loudest story you'll ever tell. Until next time, stay safe. Stay curious. And never stop asking the hard questions.